Hi, I'm Lindsay Augustine, and I am going to show you the lessons that I chose for the population connection project that we had. So the first one that I chose was called Go Fish, and it is from the Population Connection online book that we received through the assignment. So the summary for the lesson is, so each student gets a plastic bag of 10 goldfish, and in the center of the circle around the kids, there will be a bowl full of goldfish. And so as a teacher, I would ask those students, okay, take as many goldfish as you think that you need. And then you'll give the bowl from the middle to one of the students in the circle. And then you notice by the time that you get to about like the third person in the circle, that the goldfish is gone from the bowl. And so then you reconvene and you ask the students, does everyone have the same amount of goldfish? Clearly no, because the three that had the bowl had more goldfish than all the other ones from around the circle. And so you ask the students, how can we have the goldfish equally dispersed throughout the whole circle so all of our friends have the same amount of goldfish? And you may hear, oh, we can each get 3. So each student has the same amount. So this lesson goes over sharing and cooperative, being cooperative with all the students, and then also thinking of how we can do this to share with all the other classmates. So the objectives are compare amounts and describe which is more and less. Work cooperatively to solve a problem. Let 3 items that may be shared. So list 3 items like after the activity of what you can share with your friends. So I could say, oh, I'm gonna share my baby with my friend today. And then you could also do identify 3 ways to promote sharing. So how can you share more with your friends? The next one is called Animal Charades, and it is from the Project Wild book. And this one shows, the summary is students will pretend to be either a wild or domestic animal. So you're either going to be like a cat or dog, or say a bird or a tiger. And so all the students, one at a time, are going to act out an animal. The rest of the class, their job is to guess what animal it is, and then from there, decide if it's domestic or wild animal. And then after that, you can take a walk in the forest or the place around you and notice all those animals that are wild. Say like there's a bird in the tree, or there's a house nearby and there's a dog outside. So we have a domestic and we have a wild animal right there. So the objectives are define wildlife, distinguish between domesticated and wild animals. Our next one is Color Crazy, and it is from our Project Wild book as well. The summary is, first the teacher is going to open the discussion about where different animals live. So for example, a badger lives in like a hole, in rocks or something like that. It lives, in a cave, something like that. And so you're going to discuss where all these animals live, and say a bird, they make a nest, so they live in the nest. So then you're going to go for a walk, and you are going to collect those items that might have a pertinence to that habitat that that animal lives in, and then you're going to use those items that you collect to create a habitat or picture using that animal and their habitat of where they live. So you can like glue a stick to a piece of paper and say like, it like uses the sticks to build a nest, things like that. So the objectives are generalize that wildlife exists in many colors, make inferences about the relationship between wildlife coloration and the colors and patterns found in an animal's habitat, and discuss coloration of wildlife as an adaptation for survival. Our next one is Creatures in Motion. This is from the Population Connection online resource that we were given for this assignment. The summary is direct students to form a line, and each student, besides the first person in line, is going to put their hands on the person in front of them on their shoulders. And so from this, they're going to be a centipede or a millipede, and they're going to have to walk together and really work together as a team to be able to walk effectively together instead of tripping or falling over each other. And then after that, you're going to split the class into 2 groups, and they are going to create their own creature and try and figure out how they can walk and cooperate as a team to work together. And so the objectives are students will be able to demonstrate how members of a group can work cooperatively to achieve a goal, explain the challenges of group cooperation, and the skills are cooperating, group problem solving, brainstorming, and descriptive writing. So after that, after doing our 2 teams, then we are going to then draw what we created on our piece of paper and share how that helped and how it worked and what didn't work. And finally, our last one is called Amazing Water. And this is from the Project Wet. So the summary is, what happens in the spring? So you're going to ask your class, what happens in the spring when the snow melts? It gets all muddy, the snow melts, so like it's all slush on the road, and then you're going to ask, have you noticed puddles? What happens to the water in the puddles? Like, they don't just go away. Is it muddy puddles? Is the water clear in the puddles? Those questions to get those students thinking right away before you jump into the activity. And so then you're going to explain water is used to clean things and also carries materials from place to place. So it can dirty things and it can also clean things. And then from there, you are going to do this maze right here. And within that maze, there are different pictures. And so there's like a factory and a house and all those things. And you're going to talk about what you ran into in the maze and if those were good things or if it's going to hurt our earth and the water within it. So the objectives are recognize that soil and sand can form a mixture when water is added, describe how rainwater flows over streets, sidewalks, and parking lots, recall that rainwater can carry soil and sand as it flows, and list 4 things they can do to make stormwater cleaner. So those are my 4 or 5 lessons that I have picked out, and I know that I will probably use them in the future for my early childhood class, since I am planning on being an early childhood special education teacher for 3 to 5-year-olds, and I know that I can incorporate some of these lessons within my teaching and the themes or weekly topics that we have.